The concept of the dead returning to life is thousands of years old. For millennia, many ancient civilizations believed that the dead could rise from their graves. Across the globe, stories of the undead were steeped in myth and superstition, and people clung to these terrifying beliefs with conviction. Each culture crafted its own version of the zombie legend tales that once evoked unimaginable fear, but today provide thrilling entertainment in the form of books and films. But how did this idea of zombies emerge, and how did it infiltrate mainstream pop culture? The word zombie most likely derives from the West African Kimbundu word nzambi, meaning a snake god or a divine spirit. Over time, this term evolved in the voodoo tradition to mean reanimated corpse. In Haitian folklore, a zombie is described as a dead body brought back to life through dark magic. The term made its way into the English language in 1819 when poet Robert Southey mentioned it in his work History of Brazil. Yet, it was not until 1929 when W.B. Seabrook's novel The Magic Island detailing Haitian voodoo rituals was published that zombies captured America's attention. Then in 1932, the world was introduced to the first zombie horror movie, White Zombie, which opened the gates to a new era of fear. The idea of zombies might trace back to the Stone Age. Some scholars argue that humanity's fear of the reanimated dead led to the creation of the gravestone itself. In ancient times, people would place heavy stones on graves to ensure the dead stayed buried, unable to claw their way out. In Syria, archaeologists discovered skulls from 10,000 years ago that had been smashed and separated from their bodies. This practice, believed to prevent the dead from rising, was a ritual observed throughout Europe and the Near East. Ancient Greek zombies. In the 1980s, archaeologists unearthed strange graves in Sicily, a Greek colony from around 800 BC. These graves held bodies pinned down with heavy stones. It is believed that the ancient Greeks feared certain individuals would rise from the dead. To prevent this, they often burned, dismembered, or restrained the corpses within their graves. Norse mythology speaks of the Draugr, a fearsome revenant that lived within its tomb but could escape to terrorize the living. In Chinese folklore, the Jiangshi, or stiff corpse, roams the earth. These zombie like creatures are often reanimated victims of suicide or murder, capable of hopping after their prey. The concept of zombies and the practice of voodoo spread across the globe through the slave trade. In Haiti, zombie legends primarily originate from African beliefs. Slaves brought their folklore with them to the plantations, and their stories of the undead grew in the fertile soil of Haitian culture, eventually crossing over to America. In Haitian voodoo, it is believed that some deaths are natural, while others, like murder, are unnatural. The souls of those who die unnaturally linger at their graves, waiting for divine approval to move on. During this limbo, their spirits are vulnerable to capture by a sorcerer or bokor who can imprison the soul and command its reanimated body as a zombie. Ironically, Haitians fear the bokor far more than the zombie itself. Zombies are under the complete control of the bokor, at their mercy to do whatever bidding is required, from manual labor to dark deeds. Zombies in pop culture. The fascination with the undead has a long history, and zombies have inspired some of the most iconic tales in literature and film. One of the earliest fictional stories of the undead is Philinion and Makates, written by Greek author Phlegon of Tralles. In the story, a young woman named Philinion dies, returns to life, and spends nights with a guest at her parents' house only to die again mysteriously. Of course, no discussion of famous zombies would be complete without mentioning Dr. Frankenstein's monster, the undead creation of Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein. Though not a traditional zombie, Frankenstein's monster is one of the most recognizable reanimated corpses in literature. The rise of zombie films. The first ever zombie film, White Zombie, was released in 1932, featuring Bela Lugosi as the evil voodoo priest who transforms a woman into a zombie. But it was George A. Romero's 1968 masterpiece, Night of the Living Dead, that redefined zombies as the terrifying, flesh eating predators we recognize today. This film also introduced the idea of the zombie apocalypse, a notion that has since dominated countless films, television shows, and books, most notably The Walking Dead. Modern zombies. Today's zombie bears little resemblance to its ancient voodoo roots. Modern zombies are often portrayed as victims of a viral infection, biological experiments gone wrong, or apocalyptic scenarios. They are no longer mindless slaves, but relentless predators, turning every corner of society into a battlefield for survival. From the Stone Age to the Information Age, mankind's obsession with the undead has spanned centuries, transcending cultures and geography. Today, the zombie phenomenon is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Our love for these terrifying creatures has endured the test of time, and in the information age, we eagerly stream zombie flicks in HD waiting for the next outbreak to unfold. The undead may be ancient, but they are more alive than ever in our imaginations.